What is up, boys and girls? It is Monday, September 1st, which means we are only 3 days away from the start of the NFL season. If you have yet to check out my article on Dallas and Philly on Thursday night, the opener, the kickoff of the 2025 NFL season, go check it out now. There's a lot of free insights on there. I have a lean on the spread. I also have an official play for paying clients. I would consider becoming a paying subscriber to Farley Bets. That's me, to this Substack right here. Because we won 23 units last season. We won another circuit contest last season. We're feeling great entering this season. And I won't do you wrong. You'll always get transparency from me. You'll get the plays. A lot of plays as the season goes on, late Sunday night, early Monday morning to beat those lines before they move. And overall, we're very judicious. This is what we've done now for a very long time, and this is obviously our best sport, our most accomplished sport that we bet. So check us out, even as a free subscriber. If you'd like, you can get a good grasp of the content, but then change over to a paying subscriber, and you can reach out to me and ask me for a discount if things are tough for you for the current prices. I know, my prices aren't cheap relative to other Substack channels here, but relative to professional bettors, they're extremely cheap. And that's because I don't like to overcharge for these plays, right? Even though I know we're going to have a winning season, we're going to have a great season. I know that America's going through tough times, even though some people might not want you to believe that. That is true. So reach out to me if you'd like a discount. Otherwise, consider being a paid or free subscriber. The next team is the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, if you look at the Steelers roster, okay, there's some obvious changes throughout, but the most important, the biggest change is obviously Aaron Rodgers coming from two seasons, failed seasons with the Jets, injured, and then a up and down rocky path last year at the Meadowlands. He was considering retirement. He got married, went through a few more ayahuasca retreats, and Aaron Rodgers is back now in another NFL team. I believe he's 41. By now we know that he's not at the top of his game anymore, but still he's Aaron Rodgers, and we saw some, obvious like the Aaron Rodgers edge appeared with the Jets, right at the line of scrimmage. Just his intelligence can still really whip that ball out there. He's not going to be as mobile. He's not going to be as athletic, and that could be a problem with this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. We'll get to that in a second. But do I think that Aaron Rodgers can thrive in the Steelers? I think thrive is a strong word, but I think he can do well. And I think that the tandem of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin is very interesting. They've always respected each other, talked highly about each other, and they both kind of have that chip on their shoulders at all times, right? And as usual, right away, right, we see that the Steelers win total is 8.5, so it's right there at that median line. Are they going to have a winning season or not? Tomlin famously with, I believe, 17 straight winning seasons now as the Steelers head coach, which is absolutely insane. Can he keep it going with Aaron Rodgers under center? I think the other side of the ball will be their stronger unit, but let's get to a little bit more of that. Okay. Average to below average offense last season in most team categories. Atrocious on fourth down and in the red zone. That's something that they're going to have to shore up, that's for sure. Russell barely threw interceptions and had decent pass yards per mark, like per pass. 15th in the NFL, so very average, but better than other aspects of their offense. But nothing extraordinary offensively. Now they lean on an even older, slower quarterback, although I would say Aaron Rodgers probably has a better arm at this point. Also a subpar run game last season, but they leaned on their run game regardless. A top 10 run percentage team. But it's interesting that they sent Najee Harris to the Chargers. It kind of fits that bill as a adequate Steelers running back. He's a power back. He's more dynamic than I think the Steelers showed of him, but didn't love the system for him anyway. I guess the Steelers didn't love it either. But now they're stuck with Jalen Warren and their third round draftee at running back in their backfield. So Jalen Warren is a really talented player, really quick running back out of the backfield, a great pass catcher. But is he an every down back? I'm not so sure about that. And this is a run game that has struggled in the past. So they better get the run game going, and they better get better results from their offensive line. PFF ranks them 21st overall. and I can't put them better than 20th myself. Zach Frazier is their certified veteran and the highest rated offensive lineman for them, but the rest are very young around him, unproven, and they've had issues in the past. They are going to need to protect, I believe, the oldest quarterback in the NFL, certainly the oldest starter in the NFL, and that should raise some red flags, right? Like we saw a semblance of that with Rodgers with the Jets, which the Jets got a little bit better in that area, but I'm not sure if the Steelers did enough. Now, Aaron Rodgers will have DK Metcalf, a very legitimate number one wide receiver. The guy is massive. He's physical. He can make plays. I do not love who's under him at the wide receiver positions. They do have Pat Freiermuth, easy for me to say, who's a very solid tight end. Let's get to their defense. Very good at good at preventing points, bad at preventing yards last season, and far below average against the pass, but mostly top 10 marks against the run. Not as effective at sacking the quarterback either. TJ Watt again incurred some injuries. Things were fine, but going into this season, a completely healthy Steelers roster, you can make an argument that this is the best defensive roster in the NFL. So first and foremost, interior lineman Derek Harmon was added. He's a great pass rusher. So he's there with T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward. I mean, that defensive front alone is going to be really dangerous. Alex Highsmith, still one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And that's not even including Patrick Queen. And then they added Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, two of the better cornerbacks, to play in the secondary in the NFL. So this is a very exciting front seven. It's a very talented secondary backfield. There is not an element of the Steelers' defense that is below average or even average. This is an above average 3-unit defense here. And that, not a fantasy guy, but I would imagine that they're going to be the best fantasy defense in the NFL. We know how guys like TJ Watt can force fumbles. Now they got two guys who can intercept the ball, who are veterans at the position, and Ramsey and Slay. And their front seven, for the talent that they have, there's no reason why they can't be much better against the run. So this is going to be, for at least what it looks like, is a very, very, very good defense that can keep the Steelers in games. If the offensive line of the Steelers figures things out, now we're talking about a balanced team who can really, once again, surprise the rest of the NFL and the AFC North and have another winning season. So I think their schedule is medium. They can get about 5 wins in their first 9 games, I would say. They're at the Jets to start the season. The NFL loves an Aaron Rodgers drama, so Aaron goes right back to the Meadowlands to face the Jets. Then Seattle at home, away at New England. When you play Seattle, you don't want to play on the road, right? So Seattle at home, at New England, which is a big question mark how good they'll be this season. That's a team in flux. Cleveland at home, at Cincinnati, Green Bay, Indianapolis. If they win 5 of those first, I guess that's 8 games. If they win 4 or 5 of those first 8 games, they'll be in a really, really good position. They're going to have to do that, though, especially if they want to get over their 8.5 win total, because the final 8 games are tough. At the Chargers, Cincinnati, the Bears, the Bills, at Baltimore, Dolphins, Lions, at Cleveland, Baltimore. So you got Baltimore twice in the second half of the season. You got teams like the Chargers, and you're at the Chargers. You got the Lions in there. You got the Bears in there, and you got the Bills in there. So it's going to get really tough on the back end. I tend to think that Aaron Rodgers is going to decide whether Mike Tomlin has a winning season again, and I'm not bullish that he will deliver. At the end of the day, not only is Aaron Rodgers, again, quarterback, obviously the most important position on the field, and something that we think about coach and quarterback tandem probably more than most handicappers, or at least the weight that we put on these games and these seasons. A quarterback who's older, can't move as well, and now he's kind of that weird, like, oh, I just got married, I'm in love. Lord knows he's doing ayahuasca retreats. It took him forever to say that he wants to continue playing in the NFL. Like, he waited until like early summer to announce that, or like late spring, whatever. But not exactly a vote of confidence in his motivation and his focus to stay in the NFL. I give this team a rating of 76, mostly because of their defense. Like, if this was based on their offense, it'd be in the 60s. Their defense gives them a big boost because I have them in the 80s. But this is a team that's probably going to produce a lot of low-scoring games. Now, their defense could score too, but I think this offense is really going to be a slow operation at first. They're going to have to figure things out very quickly if they want to have a winning season. I lean to the over because who am I to doubt this defense? Who am I to doubt Mike Tomlin? They just do it every single year. So I have to lean over. But I will say, if there was ever a year of concern, this is it for me. I don't know if the Steelers are going to be a real threat in the AFC and the AFC North overall. Again, a rating of 76, no bets. We move on to the 49ers next.